Hey guys, welcome to the channel if you're new. Welcome back if you're a subscriber. Special thanks to all of my patrons. My name's Neil and it's time for the next episode of The Haunting of Hill House. Last episode, guys, was insanely good. It was an extra 10 or 15 minutes longer than the average episode of this series, and it was necessary because there was so much packed into it. We learned so much more about Nell. We've really only learned about her secondhand through the rest of our characters, the rest of the Crane siblings so far, but now we really got to see all the trauma that she's been through, both as a child and as an adult. We learned more about her brief marriage to Arthur and how that ended tragically, and then we were left with her deciding to go back to Hill House. Her delusions or haunting by the house itself pretended to be her mother, messed with her head, she hung herself, and then that brilliant reveal at the end showing that every time she saw the bent neck lady as a child throughout her life, every time she had her sleep paralysis and saw the bent neck lady, she was really seeing herself dead. Shocking and well crafted and creepy AF, and I can only imagine when it first came out and lots of people were watching this at the same time that a lot of people were talking about this episode 5 in particular. But now where do we go? We still have 5 episodes to go. I think we finally learned the bulk of Nell's death / suicide. We know that the funeral is happening in Boston nearby. Presumably the whole family is going to be there. We know that Stephen was tasked with collecting his father and Luke. And we know Thea and Shirley are already in Boston. So it's going to be more family drama, more an awkward family reunion for sure. I'm sure of that because this is a messed up family dynamic already, and it won't. I mean, it's terrible circumstances to reconvene at the best of times, in the best of circumstances, and instead, their dysfunction, I'm sure, will bubble to the surface. So that's kind of what I'm anticipating in this episode. I also hope that we find out more about Mom's death because we really haven't seen much. We've caught the briefest of glimpses, flashing back to that night, 26 years ago. So I'd love to know more. I'd love to know what her accident or suicide was like. Was it the same sort of circumstances as Nell's, or was it something else entirely? It seems that the visions we've had of her have been bloodier. We know Theo had a vision of her as a child, all bloody, in those white robes. We know that Shirley had a vision of her in the mortuary basement, and we know Dad saw something, but he's not telling anybody what he saw. So very, very curious to see what more information we get, how slowly it's doled out, and I'm nervous because this show gives me chills. This show keeps me unsettled. It's crafted so well. It's not. What I appreciate is that it's not cheap chills. It's not shocking just for the sake of being shocking. Like there's a really fascinating, interesting, worthwhile story underneath it, filled with really well-rounded, interesting characters, and a really messed up family dynamic that's entertaining to explore. So I'm looking forward to this one. This is episode 6 of The Haunting of Hill House, and it's called Two Storms.
She looks great. You did a really good job, as usual.
Thanks.
But she doesn't look like she's sleeping. I don't know why people say that.
Most of what people say at a funeral is a wish.
What did Theo see when she touched Nellie's head? downstairs.
It's all set. I promise. This can be a problem for Luke.
If he tries for it, Steve can take him back to the hotel.
So Luke can't even drink. I mean, I get that addiction is addiction, but...
Steve says he didn't even have shoes when he found him.
Great. We get to watch him come down. Flies across the country to puke on his dead sister.
He never got high. He's 90 days clean still. Oh boy.
Please, Luke, don't fuck this up. That's funny. Nellie was always trying to get all of us together in one place.
Someone should have told her she didn't have to try this hard.
Ouch.
I'm sorry. I can't.
You're taking a what?
A break.
Like a separation?
Like, I just think it's not unusual for people in a relationship as long as us.
Don't care. Getting you a drink.
Thank Christ.
It's not as bad as it is in your head. But she doesn't look like she's sleeping. So forget that.
I think they did a really good job of casting a bunch of people that really almost could be family. Like they match the kids, or vice versa. The kids match them. But B, they really look like they could be a family.
Positive ID. That's Nellie, all right, and she's dead.
Yeah.
Jesus.
Steven's having a harder time than Luke.
Shit, Cheryl.
Whole lot of
Every
drinking
time I
going
feel
on.
like punching something.
I get it. This feels so frickin' real. Oh no. Steven's actually seeing...
Get it together. Get it together.
This is the first time we've like clearly seen...
I still don't get why she'd go there in the first place.
Well, Mom.
She barely remembered Mom.
You put yourself in first class
I put him there, too.
and made Dad fly coach?
He
Yep.
insisted.
That's
Cheryl, he wanted to
that's just
pay for his
stupid.
own ticket.
How long has this been a single shot? Like it's...
Wait.
I didn't even realize until now, but this...
Yeah, I know.
I mean, this is practically a stage play. Wow.
Sorry, I'm a little late.
Oh,
That's
dear
okay.
God, look at this.
How was your flight?
I mean, there was definitely a hidden cut when they panned through the empty wall
It was,
to the door before we opened it to see Dad, but this is
Fine.
fascinating.
you know,
I mean,
Thanks for being here.
this is some really interesting filmmaking.
I don't really know what to say. You know, to see all of you in the same room. Well, not all.
Man, this
I'm
is
just sorry that we have to
so awkward.
be here.
They're all haunted by Mom. Oh, and he sees the baby, his baby daughter. Oh,
You did, she looks beautiful.
have we literally stayed in the same shot the entire time so far? This is so
Okay.
terribly awkward. Does he have his wife at his shoulder in the mirror? And he's right back in the house. See, the irony is you could have totally put these two sets on your stage like that the entire time, and you'd never know. But you walk between them in this scene, and it feels like this massive haunting.
Jesus Christ!
Honey, don't say that.
You just said it.
Your mother hates storms, too.
You do?
Since I was a little girl. Just like you.
Well, and her migraines are like storms too, aren't they?
Just grab that other side. I want to move this out of the way so no one's tripping on
How
it.
heavy? It's like cast iron. There's like
Ready?
no way you can lift that.
Yep.
Why did it
Well, maybe
fall?
you can. But
That's hail.
where's Shirley?
Everything's fine, okay?
Two storms.
Broke.
Seriously?
Exploded. You okay? Hey, it's okay. It's just the power. It's just the power. The power went out. I'm right here, you guys. Come
It's
here,
all right.
okay.
Flashlight's in the kitchen.
Okay. You got it. All
Don't go running into the statue room.
Mommy's seen things too. Sometimes mommy sees
Can I just
people here too.
say
But
mad
they won't hurt
props
us,
to
They're not here
the
to hurt
Steadicam
us.
operators,
What'd you see?
because
Everybody
a Steadicam rig
Yeah, everybody's fine.
is
Well,
not
this one's
light,
working, but these need
and
batteries.
carrying one
Theo's got you.
and framing a shot perfectly
Just for a second, I'm gonna get her flashlight.
for a
Right
long,
back.
long take is a proper workout.
I got yours, Luke.
Up on my hand.
Thanks, Steve. It's just a storm.
When I was a kid, we used to go camping all the time. I was a life scout.
What is a life scout? I know Eagle Scouts, I know Chief Scouts.
Where's your sister? Theo?
She was right there. I was holding her hand the entire time. Nellie?
Sweetheart?
I'm just so blown away
It's okay. I know.
away by
We're gonna
the
find it.
design of these shots,
Oh, I know you're scared.
that the story is almost taking a back seat. Like, these are so well done.
Won't let anything happen to her. To any of you guys. That's my whole job. First thing they teach us in Big Brother school.
You're such a good brother as a boy.
Luke! Luke!
She gets fed up and she tells Nellie to stop using whatever it was and speak properly. It's a made-up word. And Nellie looks her right in the eye and says, all words are made up at first.
Buffalo. Padded, puffy envelope.
Serious, Theo. Might want to slow down.
But I'm trying to drink her back to life. Would you like me to stop?
Yes. She got that from your mother, you know.
Alcoholism?
No, Buffalo. Dear Mr. Claus, this is, Nellie Crane. And the thing is, guys, you know, she would never ask for anything for herself, ever. She only asked for presents for you guys. You know, we had to make sure we got you what you wanted. We weren't about to discourage that instinct. Your mom would say, oh, no, we water that seed.
You know, some religions won't let you be buried in their cemeteries if you kill yourself. It's like you committed a crime. When really it was just that you're in so much pain. She knew the price the rest of us pay when someone does that, and she did it anyway.
Now it says, don't worry. We're safe in here. It's not his magic. It makes us indivisible.
Indivisible.
Steve stopped shaking the tent. He says that in the bare voice, I think you mean invisible. And now he shouts at the bear. I meant what I said, Bear.
You see, we're all aware of how you like to hold back information when a family member offs themselves. So I'm just wondering if there's a little more you're not telling us.
I know I'm dead quiet right now, but this is such compelling television. It's real time. It's 2 sets. It's uncut. It's basically a stage play. The rehearsals that must have gone into this.
She wasn't herself.
She was seeing a new therapist. She's a fucking quack.
Well, she was clearly off her meds when I saw her.
How did she sound?
She wasn't worried about herself. She was apparently worried about you.
I talked to her. She said the bent neck lady was back.
Just like Mom, you ignore the signs and you hope it'll go away, and then you hold back information. Even
if I held back anything, it was to protect you kids.
I don't need why do I need protection from the truth?
Well, you were happy enough to exploit all of us for some blood money. That's why none of us ever took your fucking money, Steve.
Cut it out.
And you're fucking drunk.
You don't know what I feel. And I am allowed to process that any way that I want to.
What did she feel? Let's see.
You know what? I took the money, Cheryl.
You took his money.
You'd have to be
Wait,
a real stubborn bitch not to, so.
Wait till you find out what your husband did.
Live under my roof, eat my food, and lie to my face for how many years? We agreed, all of us. We weren't going to participate in his sick little publicity stuff. You just stood up there and you didn't get to lie to me. Blood money. You're out, Theo.
Are you gonna stop this?
After the funeral, you can fuck off back to Cali, Stephen.
We took the money too.
Do you have any idea how much you've humiliated me?
Yeah, honey.
Both of you. Just out. I can't.
People lash out. It's perfectly.
What? What the hell?
What?
Who did this?
What?
What?
Cheryl.
What?
You think this is cute?
Oh, she's buttoned.
You were
Why would I
standing
do something
here.
Hell.
Where'd Luke go?
Nell.
Nell?
Nellie?
That's gotta be Shirley's room.
Nellie?
Oh dear God. That's a new one. She's not shocked in the least.
Liv?
Oh. She's crossed over or something. Oh, what's down at the end of the hall?
Liv! Liv! Hey!
Where'd she go?
How the hell did you...
What is going on?
Liv! Get away from the window! Jesus Christ!
Oh.
I'm having the strangest dream. It ran right through here toward the kitchen. It was like this big wolf.
Where did it go?
Big dog in the kitchen. Oh man. Frickin' batteries.
Again?
Oh man.
Oh, we're just wandering around in the dark.
Aren't we all?
Does Luke actually have his shit together more than anyone else at this point?
Who do you think did this?
Well, if I'm honest, none of us.
She didn't do this to herself.
No.
Neither did Mom, did she?
That's a complicated question.
Let's hear it.
No, I don't want to upset anyone any more than we're already upset.
No, just get it all out there.
Nell didn't kill herself. The house did. You don't understand Hill House, Steve. You never did. It's always
My
been
problem?
your problem.
No,
is
that's
you
not my
think you know
problem.
what
My
happened
problem.
that night.
My
You don't know
problem
what God
is that the wrong parent died.
Oh my God. How does that happen? Like,
To fix her makeup.
Sorry, boys.
is Theo down in the basement? Do these two need a scene?
Wait.
Oh dear. Who is that guy? We haven't seen that. We saw that guy cheersing her once before. But who is he?
I was right here and I was screaming and shouting and none of you could see me. Why couldn't you see me? None of you even looked.
So sorry. We're so sorry.
Don't do that ever again. I'll never let you go again. Never again. I promise. I was right here the whole time. None of you could see me. Nobody could see me.
Wow. There's a lot to talk about with that episode of TV. First of all, it's just incredibly well-written drama. It's such a messed up family, but every single one of them feels real and fully realized, and the performances are great, and The dialogue is genuine and earnest. But that episode, I mean, we can't talk about that episode without focusing on the fact that it was basically shot in real time, that it's imagined as almost a with very few cuts. There were a couple of little cut, like scripted cut transitions in there, but for the most part, I mean, it's almost like a stage play. Like I said earlier, like it all flows in the one camera the entire time. It's let me just say, the planning, the organization, the rehearsal that must have gone into an episode like that cannot be overstated. Because that is not how television is normally shot. That is so off pattern that there were so many discussions about how best to tackle that episode. Normally we spend 8 days filming an hour-long episode of scripted drama. Some shows aim for 7. Some big budget shows give you more than 8. 8's pretty par for the course. I don't even know how you would have scheduled the filming for this, because I feel like you may have wanted to spend at least half of those 8 days doing nothing but rehearsals. And not just cast rehearsals, but camera rehearsals. That you know that in some of these scenes there are, there's a boom operator standing behind the guy with the Steadicam the entire time, and just the dance, so that not only are you never on screen, but that you're watching your shadows. There's going to be lighting effects technicians. There's going to be so many people watching the camera feed, cueing special effects, cueing light. I wonder whether they even did some quick makeup and costume changes in scene for Nell, for instance, or whether they had a photo double Nell that they would put in the coffin, so that the actress playing Nell could appear as the bent neck lady, or I don't know. So many fascinating ideas, but and kudos to the entire production, but this is also not what television actors are used to. Television actors are used to, scenes that rarely go over 2 or 3 pages, multiple takes, multiple setups, plenty of time to get to know your lines. This is not like that. This is a single camera setup, long takes, scenes that felt like they ran 15, 20 minutes or longer. So yeah, the rehearsal that went into this for everybody concerned must have been really, really interesting. The irony is the shooting itself might have only needed 3 or 4 days, because once you get that one take that's good enough, that nails it, where you don't screw up, then like you've only got so many takes like that in a day of filming. Like how many times do you do it before you're just like you're overwhelmed, you're burned out, you're watching it. Put it this way: watching an episode of TV like this gives me anxiety as an assistant director. That's what it boils down to. It gives me massive anxiety. But I mean, kudos for the production pulling this off, and yeah, just a really well written hour of TV. I loved the transitions back and forth between 2018 and I guess what must have been 1992. I felt like it was in the 80s based on a couple of visual cues in the story, but if they say it's 26 years ago, then it would have been 1992. Fair enough. I love the scene where the dad leaves the funeral service room, walks down the hall to the bathroom and ends up in the hall, and there's no camera trickery there. I guarantee you those two sets are next to one another on the soundstage, and they would have just built and dressed an additional corridor connecting the two for this scene. The only scene that I think they may have done, I mean, there's certainly going to be some cuts hidden in that, especially these slow, steady pans through empty space going from A to B. Like you can hide a cut relatively easily in something like that. But the only scene that I really wonder about is the one where Mom and Dad back in 92 were upstairs, and Dad was trying to follow Mom. Mom had already seen the ghosts, and she was sort of having her weird waking dream and appearing all over in all those different places. Some cut probably had to be hidden in there, but there may have been some running behind the scenes and stuff too. Like, a couple of photo doubles. They were certainly at a distance. You might have had 3 or 4 photo double moms in that scene. Man, it's a messed up family. I love that that they're finally talking about some things that have really sort of driven wedges in between, in all these relationships over the years. But I feel like it's also going to get worse before it gets better. We still have the funeral to go, but I feel like this series has to finish back at Hill House. So what's going to compel this completely dysfunctional family to go to the Hill House and reach some kind of resolution? And what's that resolution going to be? I don't know. I don't know where this show is going, and that's what I find really compelling is, typically ghost stories are just sort of about fright and survival. Like, will you actually live? And this feels different. This doesn't feel like the Crane family are in danger of dying, despite the fact that the house has, in Dad's words, the house has killed both the mom and now Nell. I don't feel like, they're not in the house anymore. They got out. Like, this is in the past, but they're still haunted by their mom, by their sister, by the house. The occupants of the house certainly haunted the hell out of them back then. More and more than, first we thought maybe it's just the bent neck lady, but no, that apparently was just Nell. But there's the bowler hat man, there's this old woman in her bed, there's Abigail, there's now this sickly boy in the wheelchair, there's some sort of giant wolf dog, and now in Nellie, when Nellie died, it feels like her mom is haunting the place as well. And who is the guy that Shirley keeps seeing? I mean, call it a vision, call it a haunting, whatever it is, but the guy in the suit that keeps toasting her. I don't think we've met who he is, but he's appeared twice to her. So what's that all about? It's weird that we've gone more than halfway through the season and that's just been teased twice, and it feels like so minor, except why is it there? It's got to mean something. I like that everybody in the family is seeing ghosts. And ironically, in that entire episode, the person who had their shit together more than anyone might have been Luke. The last person you'd expect. Were Theo and Kevin actually doing anything? I don't think so. I think she was just drunk. Maybe they were certainly having an argument or discussion about the secrets they've kept from Shirley and whether Theo has to move out or not. We know Theo's into women, not men, but yeah, I don't see it. But I get why Shirley's even more upset. In a weird way, it was an incredibly quiet episode. I mean, so much of it was just people talking, getting stuff off their chest, dealing with the difficulties that come from family and relationships and bad history and trauma and all the rest of it, and dealing with death. It's like, you know, it's like Shirley said early on in the episode, so much of the talk around funerals is just wishful thinking. It's putting a voice to our uncomfortable optimism. This wake, which is essentially what it was, drinking, standing around a body, commiserating, waiting to see if it would rise again. And there she was in her child voice saying, "I was here the whole time. None of you saw me. I was screaming and yelling and jumping up and down. None of you saw me." And that's a reflection that no one... Did anyone actually see her ghost tonight in this episode? There were visions of Mom. There were visions in the past. There was the dude in the suit. We, the audience, saw Nell's ghost, the bent neck lady, multiple times. But did anyone else actually see her other than Luke? I'm sure Luke did. But yeah. So that's the surface level of it. I mean, the second level obviously is I was jumping up and down and none of you saw me. No one wanted to deal with her problems. Steven is so convinced that it's mental illness, and he's mad at Dad for encouraging, not shooting down these stories of Nell's. Man, so much to unpack. What a great show. That's all I can say. I'm looking forward to more. I feel more and more comfortable with this show the deeper we go into it, because as much as we see ghosts and are startled by them, they're not violent ghosts. They certainly mess with our visions, they mess with our heads, they mess with our reality, they've scarred us in the past. But like I said, I don't feel like this family is doomed to die. I just feel like they're doomed to continue to be driven apart. And I don't know, I'm very curious to see how it all resolves. I don't feel like this is a happy ending show, but man, is it a well-made one. Thank you guys so much for joining me. I'm having a ton of fun with these, and I'm looking forward to the next one. So until then, everybody, take care, stay healthy, and we'll see you soon. Cheers.